Ever thought you could buy, well, nothing? Absolutely zilch? And yet, someone, somewhere, is probably getting ridiculously rich, selling that exact nothing to you or someone like you. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry built on things you can't touch, can't hold, and sometimes can't even properly explain at a dinner party without sounding slightly unhinged. It's the business of selling the intangible, the ephemeral, the is it even there kind of stuff. Welcome to the glorious, baffling world of selling almost things where the price tags are big and the products are, well, often invisible. It's a modern marvel, or perhaps a modern madness, but it's undeniably happening all around us every single day. First up, let's talk about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Sounds incredibly dull, doesn't it? Like something your accountant would get excited about, possibly while wearing a slightly too tight tie. But oh, it's so much weirder and potentially more lucrative than your average tax form. Think of it as a digital certificate of authenticity, a unique bit of code on a blockchain that says, you, yes you own this specific digital item. That item could be a piece of digital art, like a picture of a particularly unimpressed cartoon monkey, a video clip of a spectacular basketball dunk, or even a tweet from a celebrity. Yes, a tweet. Someone paid nearly $3 million for the first ever tweet. Let that sink in. Your deepest thoughts are free. His are a down payment on a private island. Then we have air rights. This one is wonderfully literal, almost poetically so. It's the legal right to control and often build in the empty space above a piece of property. Imagine you own a charming little two-story building, perhaps a quaint bookstore or a cozy cafe. Someone can come along and buy the above your roof. Why on earth would they do that? So they can build their giant gleaming skyscraper right on top of your airspace, sometimes cantilevering over your little shop in a way that feels vaguely threatening. It's a common practice in super-crowded, land-scarce cities like New York or Hong Kong. You look up and it's not just sky, it's potential real estate. Somebody owns that emptiness and they likely paid a fortune for it. It's like buying a cloud, but with significantly more lawyers and zoning permits involved. And finally, the broad, sprawling category of digital assets. This is the catch-all term for anything valuable that exists only in digital form, which is an increasingly large part of our lives. We're talking about the cool, flaming sword your video game character swings to vanquish digital dragons, the virtual land in an online metaverse where you can build your dream, pixelated home, that special exclusive dance move your avatar can pull off to impress other avatars, or even the domain name for a website like supercoolwebsitename.com. It's all just ones and zeros, fundamentally. Pixels on a screen, lines of code. But these pixels can be worth serious cash. Companies create them, people buy them, trade them, and sometimes even engage in heated online arguments over them. It's a digital gold rush, and the gold is made of pure, unadulterated code. Fantastic, isn't it? So, who's making bank from these invisible empires? Who are the modern-day alchemists turning code and air into cold, hard cash? Let's start with the art world, or rather the digital art world, which has exploded in recent years. Remember an artist called Beeple? Probably not unless you follow niche internet news, until he sold a collage of digital images, a single JPG file, mind you, for a staggering $69 million. 69 million American dollars for something you could, theoretically, right-click and save to your desktop in about 5 seconds. Of course, you wouldn't, would you? That's the magic, the invisible string attached. It's like someone photocopied the Mona Lisa, then sold the photocopy for more than the original, because this photocopy had a special invisible blockchain-verified stamp on it. The traditional art world was baffled, the tech world cheered, and everyone else just blinked a lot. Now for air rights. New York City is the undisputed king, the concrete jungle where the sky itself is a commodity. Developers there are paying absolutely eye-watering sums for the right to build upwards, ever upwards. If there's a historic, landmarked building that can't be torn down, perhaps a beautiful old library or a theatre, but it's only a few stories high, someone will likely try to buy the unused development rights, essentially the air above it. This allows them to add that potential square footage to an adjacent taller building, making their new skyscraper even bigger, more luxurious and ultimately more profitable. It's a complex, three-dimensional chess game played with zoning laws, architects, and millions upon millions of dollars, all for the privilege of occupying a bit more sky. It's capitalism at its most vertical and most confusing, and digital assets in gaming. Oh, it's an absolute goldmine, a virtual Fort Knox. Take Fortnite, for instance, that game your nephew won't stop talking about. That game is famously free to play. Free. So how did Epic Games, its creator, make over $9 billion in just 2 years from it? The answer is simple. By selling virtual stuff, outfits for your character called skins that make you look like a banana or a space marine, special pickaxes that look incredibly cool but don't actually mine resources any faster, dance moves for goodness sake, digital gestures your character can perform. People, millions of them across all age groups, spend real money on these purely cosmetic items that offer no competitive advantage whatsoever. Billions are spent on digital dress-up. It's like a never-ending global costume party where the costumes only exist on a server somewhere, and everyone desperately wants the rarest one. The madness, or genius, depending on your perspective, doesn't stop there. Consider domain names, those simple website addresses you type into your browser. Voice.com sold for a cool $30 million. iCars.com allegedly changed hands for a reputed $872 million, just for the name. It's digital real estate, the virtual equivalent of owning Park Lane or Boardwalk in Monopoly, but with much higher stakes. Then there are even stranger things like carbon credits. Companies essentially buy the right to pollute a certain amount. So if you're a polluting factory, you can purchase credits from a company that, say, plants a lot of trees or invests in renewable energy. It's a market designed to make being environmentally dirty more expensive or being clean more profitable. Selling the right to emit smoke. What a truly remarkable time to be alive. So, the big question, the one probably bouncing around your head right now, is why? Why on earth are people shelling out fortunes, sometimes life-altering sums of money, for things they can't physically touch, wear, or park in their driveway? For NFTs, a big part of the allure is scarcity and uniqueness, or at least the perception of it. This is the one and only certified digital version. The sellers cry, their voices echoing in the digital marketplace. It's like owning a rare first edition book or a classic vintage car, but instead of a beautifully bound volume or a gleaming piece of machinery, it's a string of code. You can't put it in a display case, you can't really show it off at school in the traditional sense, but you can point to it on a screen and say, with a certain smugness, that's mine, all mine, and it's verifiably unique on the blockchain. It taps into that ancient human desire to own something special, something no one else has, even if that something is a digital cat wearing a hat. Then there's the oldest game in town, the one that's been played since humans first traded shiny rocks. Investment and speculation. Many buyers aren't just passionate collectors, they're gamblers, speculators hoping to ride a wave. They purchase these intangible assets, digital art, virtual land, obscure tokens, fervently hoping the value will skyrocket, allowing them to sell it on for a massive profit in the near future. Buy low, sell high, the timeless mantra of markets everywhere, now being vigorously applied to digital doodles and virtual plots of land in metaverses that barely exist yet. It's a high-stakes digital casino where the chips are cryptographic tokens and the house doesn't always win, adding to the thrill. Sometimes these bets pay off spectacularly, creating overnight millionaires from seemingly nowhere. Other times, well, not so much. It's the thrill of the chase, the dream of striking digital gold. Don't underestimate the powerful primal draw of status and community. Owning a particular NFT, like one from the much-hyped Bored Ape Yacht Club collection, isn't just about owning a picture of a disinterested-looking primate in various outfits. It's an entry ticket, a digital key. It grants access to exclusive online communities, private Discord channels, real-world parties, and a certain cachet within those digitally native circles. It's a digital Rolex, a virtual Lamborghini, a signal that you're part of the in-crowd. Similarly, in the world of video games, having the rarest skin for your character or the most powerful digital weapon isn't just about its function, it's about showing off to your peers and rivals. It's about belonging to an elite group, even if that group only meets and interacts in cyberspace. Humans are fundamentally social creatures, even when the society is pixelated and the interactions are mediated by screens. Now, to be fair, and we do try to be fair here, sometimes not all intangible assets are purely about speculation, bragging rights, or owning a picture of a monkey. Air rights, as we've seen, have a very concrete practical utility. They allow for the construction of larger, taller buildings in dense urban environments where physical land is scarce and astronomically expensive. That's tangible value creation, even if the right itself is invisible and exists only on paper and in zoning regulations. Some digital assets in video games also provide actual in-game advantages, making the game easier or more enjoyable for the player. Think of a powerful sword that helps you defeat monsters faster, or a special vehicle that allows you to traverse the game world more quickly, so it's not all smoke and mirrors. Sometimes the nothingness actually does something useful, but let's be completely honest. A lot of it is still about the hype, the story, and the intoxicating dream of getting rich quick. All right, here's the twist, the delightful little kicker, the part where we pull back the curtain a bit. What if this whole business of selling nothing isn't as new or as weird as it fundamentally seems on the surface? Think about it for a moment. What gives a $100 bill its value? It's just a piece of paper, cotton and linen with some rather fancy printing on it. By itself, it's practically worthless. What makes gold valuable? It's just a shiny, relatively useless metal. You can't eat it. It doesn't do much beyond conduct electricity well and look pretty. The answer, for both and for many things we consider valuable, is collective belief. We, as a society, agree they have value. These digital nothings, these air rights, these NFTs, they're just taking that principle of shared belief to its logical, perhaps wonderfully absurd extreme. It's not always about the thing itself, tangible or not. It's about the story we tell ourselves about the thing, the hype, the shared agreement that this collection of pixels or this empty space above a building is worth a fortune. And the future? Oh, it's going to get even more wonderfully, dizzyingly intangible. Prepare yourselves for a veritable explosion in virtual real estate within sprawling, interconnected metaverses that are still mostly conceptual blueprints on a tech billionaire's whiteboard. Imagine buying a digital storefront on a bustling digital street that millions of avatars might digitally walk down each day. Or how about fully customizable digital identities, your online persona, that you can enhance with unique traits and maybe even rent out for specific tasks or appearances? There's serious talk and some early examples of selling the time or experiences of your highly realistic digital twin. The possibilities for monetizing the non-physical are ironically boundless. We are truly just at the very beginning of understanding this invisible economy, and it's going to be a wild, confusing, and potentially very lucrative ride for some, and a baffling spectacle for others. Naturally, where there's big money being thrown around and new, uncharted frontiers, there are also colossal risks. This isn't all fun and digital games and easy profits. Far from it. The world of intangible assets is absolutely rife with scams, with rug pulls where developers abandon projects and disappear with investors' money, and with terrifying market bubbles that can inflate with astonishing speed and then burst with spectacular, devastating fashion, wiping out fortunes overnight. People can and do lose their proverbial shirts, or in this case, their very expensive digitally certified t-shirts. Governments and regulators around the globe are, to put it mildly, playing a frantic game of catch-up. They're scratching their heads, holding emergency meetings, and desperately trying to figure out how to apply old laws, designed for a physical world, to these new, slippery, borderless concepts. It's the Wild West all over again, but with better graphics, faster Wi-Fi, and significantly more confusing jargon. So, the billion-dollar business of selling nothing. It turns out it's not really about selling nothing at all. It's about selling potent concepts. It's about selling exclusivity, status, potential future value, access to a community, and sometimes just a really compelling, exciting story. And as long as human beings are wired to desire these things, and we very much are, and as long as there are clever marketers and innovative technologists to package them in new and enticing ways, this bizarre bazaar of the intangible will not only continue, but will likely thrive and expand in ways we can't yet fully imagine. It's a testament to human ingenuity, our endless creativity, and perhaps our collective, sometimes astonishing, willingness to believe. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got an NFT of this very paragraph to mint. The starting bid is a modest $1 million. Any takers? Don't all rush at once.